So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the matinee quarantine performance of Replica by Mickey Fisher. The setting is an observation room at the Horizon Line Clinic, a privately funded medical facility. The time, Act 1, an afternoon a few decades into our future. Act 2, 2 consecutive afternoons 6 months later. Act 1, Scene 1, afternoon a few decades into our future. We're in a Spartan observation room in the Horizon Line Clinic, a privately funded medical center. There's a large two-way mirror on one wall, a table and a few chairs, one door. Lights up on Harper Dawson, wearing a plain shirt, pants, and slippers, scrubs-like clothes given to her by the center. She studies her reflection in the two-way mirror. The door opens, and Dr. Avalon enters, carrying a small tablet.
How are you feeling?
This room.
Yes?
It feels different.
It's the same room as yesterday.
I know, it's just something.
It's the procedure. It does impact the body.
My body feels fine.
You're not in any pain.
No?
Fatigue?
A little.
Have you noticed a difference in your senses, your eyesight, your hearing?
My hearing, yes. Even small sounds. I could hear the nurse unwrapping the syringe this morning.
Everything's a bit louder.
Yes.
That's normal too.
It's mostly my brain. I've had trouble focusing and my memory.
Well, that's an after effect of the mapping process on your neurotransmitters. The carbon nanotubes weaken the bonds between the pathways. We just have to get everything firing again.
How long does it last?
Well, the physical healing will take some time. It varies from person to person, depending on the age, the gender. I wouldn't worry about it. Just take care not to injure yourself.
Yeah, of course.
The memory recovery is much easier. Maybe I can help. Do you remember those pictures? They used to sell them at shopping malls, like a jumble of nonsense at first, but if you relax and you stop concentrating so hard, an image would gradually come into focus. Eventually you saw a unicorn or a pirate ship.
I think I remember one of Elvis.
It's the same principle as those pictures. The harder you try, the longer it takes. The trick is to relax. It might sound counterintuitive, but don't think, just respond quickly.
Okay.
Who are you?
Well, it's not that bad.
It's all part of the process. What's your name?
Harper Dawson.
Spell it for me.
First name Harper, Harper. Last name Dawson, Dawson.
How old are you?
40 in October.
So you're
39.
Birthday?
October 28th.
Your address?
It's
Relax.
I can picture my house.
What color is your door?
It's red. There's a set of wind chimes. I can't see the address.
Don't search for it that way. It's not about photographic recall. It's about connection. You already know the address. It's stored in there somewhere. You just have to relax, access it.
I can't.
Here. Look at this.
He pulls up pictures.
What is this a picture of?
A dog.
And this?
A square.
What color is the square?
Blue.
And this?
An airplane.
This?
An apple.
What is your name?
Harper Dawson.
How old are you?
39.
What is your address?
322 Elm Street, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Where are you right now?
An observation room.
An observation room where?
The Horizon Line Clinic in Chicago.
And why are you here?
I'm here because
Go on.
I'm here because I'm going to die.
Unfortunately, that's true. But what is your purpose? What are you here to accomplish?
I volunteered for a procedure.
What procedure?
Replication.
Good. Very good.
The doctor extends his arm and makes a fist. It takes Harper a second to figure out that he's looking for a fist bump, which she gives him. He goes back to making notes.
Did it work?
The replication? Yes.
She looks just like me?
With slight variations. There are always a few.
But you were able to...
Yet to avoid the damaged cells? Yes.
That's great.
It is. I think you're going to be very pleased.
Will my family be able to tell?
Well, your husband will at first, although he may not be able to pinpoint exactly what it is that's different.
And my kids?
Well, your kids are the perfect age for this. If the two of you were sitting side by side right now, they would probably be able to spot a few tiny differences. But after a short period of time, they'll come to accept and know her face as your own.
I suppose that should give me some sort of comfort that they'll know her face as mine.
It doesn't.
It's just strange.
Everything about this process is strange. This is unknown territory. It's going to be shocking and difficult to bear at times, especially today. But if it works, well, if it works, you'll give hope to all of us.
Hope.
Well, that we'll never have to worry about getting sick or growing old, that we may live far longer than we ever thought we would.
Sounds like a dream.
It is. It's everybody's dream, especially as we get older.
Where is she?
I'm in another room, undergoing the same preparation. It takes some time for her to adjust to this new idea, as you can imagine.
But she's me, isn't she?
Yes.
With my memories.
Well, with most of your memories.
Yes, there could be gaps. I understand.
Minor gaps.
Wouldn't she just wake up knowing where she is and why she's here?
Replication is a bit like the birthing process. It takes a newborn baby some time to reach full consciousness, usually about 5 months. Until then, it sees the world around it, but it isn't aware the same way that you and I are aware. The same is true for a replica, although the time is shortened to just a couple of hours. That's why we wait until we've seen the markers that tell us it's safe to proceed.
Well, you've seen them then. The markers.
We have. She's nearly ready. Are you?
I feel fine physically.
I don't mean physically.
It doesn't matter, does it? It's not like I can change my mind or that I would want to.
No, it matters quite a bit.
Because it could affect the evaluation.
Because it could affect your mental health. The possibility of a psychotic break.
A psychotic break. It sounds extremely unlikely.
But you're about to face a shocking new reality.
The reality I chose.
Yes, but up until this moment, it's all been theoretical. It was an idea. Now that idea has been realized, your replica exists. In just a few minutes, that door is going to open and you're going to find yourself staring at your own face, into your own eyes. That's going to be
a real mind fuck.
Well, not the clinical term I was looking for, but yes, exactly. The psychotic break is just as dangerous as the physical trauma. An event like that, even the tiniest crack.
There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. It's a line from one of my favorite songs, Leonard Cohen.
Yeah, well, with all due respect to Mr. Cohen, a crack in this situation could undo everything.
I understand your concern, doctor, but I'm not going to go crazy.
How can you be sure?
Because the new reality is preferable to the one I'm living now. I'm going to die in a few months. A psychotic break might make for a nice vacation.
Miss Dawson.
I'm joking. I promise you, I am not going to freak out when I see the clone.
We prefer the term...
Replica. Yes. I'm sorry.
Did you do your homework that I asked you for?
The visualization, yes.
Well, what did you feel when you visualized this moment?
Nervous, of course. Scared. But mostly grateful.
How did you calm yourself?
I picked a spot to go to.
A spot that means something to you.
It means everything.
Can you take me through the process?
Out loud?
It would be helpful.
Why?
If I have to prompt you, it will help to know the specifics.
All right.
Okay, close your eyes and tell me what you see. Where are you?
I'm on my back porch, looking out over the yard. Beckett and Emma are playing on the swing sets that Evan built. And Evan in his chair reading. There's a hummingbird feeder hanging from the railing, and from time to time, one of them will come up for a drink. In the distance, I can see clouds forming. A rainstorm is coming. I came out here because I love the way it smells just before and after.
What do you hear?
I hear the breeze through the oak tree, the hummingbird's wings, the creak of the rocking chair, the kids laughing. And sometimes I listen to music when I'm out here, but I don't right now.
Why not?
I don't need to. Because it's enough.
Good. Very, very good. If the need arises, I'll ask you to revisit that memory. Do you understand?
I do.
Our first session will only take about an hour.
What are the tests? What are we doing?
Well, we start with a series of questions, moral and ethical quandaries, to see how your answers line up. And there will be a memory test, an identity assessment, coordination, a test for your response to various stimuli, and a couple of minor things along the way.
Then you decide?
We'll have a good idea at some point today whether or not she's at an acceptable level, whether there appear to be any defects.
Well, what do they look like, the defects?
Well, most are internal, nothing you would notice with the naked eye. Others are more physical. There have been cases in the past where a short in the motor cortex resulted in a physical tic. Nervous shaking, uncontrollable blinking, it varies. But I think we're all pretty confident there won't be any of those issues today.
I just want it to be a success.
We do too. We're counting on it.
But if it's not a success?
Yes?
Well, I've never wanted to bring this up, but we've come this far.
You want to know what happens to them, the defective replicas?
Yes.
They're treated humanely and with great dignity. The same way you'll be treated when she takes your place in the outside world.
Thank you.
So I'll be on the other side of that glass with my colleagues giving instructions over the intercom. If you need a break, if there's any kind of emergency, if you want to stop for any reason, all you have to do is let me know.
I will.
I'm going to ask you to put this on.
He gives her a small, brightly colored wristband.
What's this for?
To tell you apart from the replica.
It seems a little low tech for a place like this.
Well, like my father always said, the right tool for the right job. Shall we begin?
I can't wait.
I almost forgot.
Yes, you asked me to write something down. I've got it right here.
Just
Pulls out a folded up piece of paper.
hold on to it till I ask for it.
Did she write one too?
Yes.
I can't wait to hear it.
Dr. Avalon starts to leave, then turns back for another fist bump, which again Harper returns. He exits. She stands, paces, calming her nerves. She examines herself in the mirror again. Dr. Avalon's voice is heard over the loudspeaker.
Harper,
Yes.
we're sending her in now.
Harper takes a breath, faces the door. It opens, and the replica enters. Absolutely identical to Harper, dressed exactly the same. Both women stare at each other for a long moment. Processing. Blackout. Scene 2. Harper and the replica sit back to back in the chairs. Each holds 2 ping pong paddles, one red, one blue. Dr. Avalon's voice is heard over the speaker.
You're walking on a footpath on the outskirts of a city, all by yourself. You come across $100 bill lying on the ground. There's no one around to see you pick it up. You have 2 choices. Red, you search for the person it belongs to, and if you don't find them, you look for somewhere to turn it in. Or blue.
Both women hold up the red paddle at exactly the same time in exactly the same way.
Next question. Your best friend has been happily married for the past 10 years. One night, while you're out shopping, you see her husband having dinner with another woman. Please raise your red paddle if you would talk to the husband first and give him the chance to explain, or the blue paddle if you would...
Both women raise the blue.
I didn't finish the question.
You didn't need to.
Blue if you'd talk to your friend.
Please let me finish the questions.
You told us to respond as quickly as possible.
Excuse me for one moment.
In the silence, Harper looks over her shoulder just slightly, trying to get a better look at the replica. Just as she turns back, the replica does the same, just missing eye contact with each other.
Next question. And this is difficult subject matter, so please bear with me. I'm going to ask you to imagine something rather painful. Years from now, your daughter tells you that when she was a child, she was sexually assaulted by a family friend. She begs you not to tell anyone. One night, you see this man while you and your husband are out on a date at the movies. The next day, you learn that his wife was murdered around the same time that you saw him at the theater, and the police have named him as the prime suspect. You have 2 choices. You can tell the police that he couldn't have murdered his wife as he was at the movies, thus ensuring that this man, the man who assaulted your daughter, goes free. Or you could stay silent, ensure he goes to prison for a crime he didn't commit, and let the real killer go free. Red, if you would choose to tell the police and set him free. Blue, if you would stay silent and let him go to prison for a crime he didn't commit. Don't think too hard. Go with your initial instinct. We need your answers, please.
They move at the exact same time, but this time they raise different colored paddles. The replica raises the blue paddle, and Harper raises the red.
We're going on to the next set of tests. Would you like to take a short break?
Yeah.
All right, we'll take 10 minutes. You're free to leave the room if you'd like.
Thank you.
They both stand up at exactly the same time in exactly the same way and turn towards each other.
May I?
Sure.
Harper moves close to the replica and reaches out a hand to touch her face. The replica takes her hand and places it on her cheek. Harper studies her, looks into her eyes.
Unbelievable.
Harper moves on to exploring the replica's hands. She takes one of the replica's hands and places it on her own cheek. The replica studies her for a moment, then pulls her hand back quickly.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's just,
Strange.
yes.
Think about it, what it looks like for me.
Nodding to the window.
Do you think they're watching us right now?
Of course they are. Hello? What do you think? Were all our answers the same?
I assume so.
What'd you pick for the one about the money?
Red.
Me too.
The husband?
Blue.
Do you think we're thinking the exact same thing right now?
I don't know. What are you thinking?
Well, if I tell you, how will we know for sure?
We'll do our own test.
Think of a word and we'll say it on the count of 3.
Ready?
1, 2, 3. Orange.
Pickle. The last question. Did you tell the police or did you keep quiet?
I picked blue.
You kept quiet.
You didn't?
No,
But why not?
because he wasn't guilty of the crime.
The crime of murder, no, but rape?
How could you?
It was my daughter.
Yeah, but somebody else's daughter was murdered.
And I'm sorry for that, I am. But if I can get justice for mine,
You'd let a killer roam free?
the rapist needs to be punished for what he did.
So does the murderer. You picked the wrong answer.
There's no wrong answer. It's not that type of question.
There is if the real guy goes free.
Hopefully he gets what's coming to him too.
Karma?
If you want to call it that.
Well, I don't believe in karma, which means you don't believe in karma.
Not karma, then
Coincidence?
certainty. The rapist deserved to go to prison.
So did the murderer.
But they didn't catch the murderer.
And they won't because you let him go free.
It was him or the rapist.
I don't understand how could we answer that one differently? It just doesn't make sense.
It was a complex question.
So?
Clearly, we were both conflicted because he had to press us for an answer and it took time to decide. So you were thinking about blue as well, at least for a moment, right?
Yes.
Just like I was thinking red for a moment.
But what do you think that means?
We knew there could be variations. Maybe a different day, a different mood,
We'd have the same answer?
or swapped answers. Maybe you would have chosen the blue paddle.
And you would have chosen the red.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Well, you can't let one question bother you.
I'm not.
You seem bothered,
I'm just
skeptical.
curious
About what?
about how much you're me.
The tests will determine.
The tests are for them.
What's your favorite color?
Red,
Mine too. Your favorite food?
sushi.
But you don't like eel.
Those are easy. They're preferences. What about our memories?
What about them?
First kiss.
Dan. Something.
You don't know?
I can't remember. What was his name?
Oh, shit, I don't remember either.
You asked the question.
Because I was hoping you'd know the answer.
Well, his first name is Dan.
Dan.
Oh my God. What was his last name?
Was it Sar something?
Star. It's horrible.
Clearly, two heads are not better than one.
Yeah, now when they're the same head, now.
Sark.
Sarkis!
Yes!
They laugh and high five each other. They realize how absurd that must have looked.
Oh, this is so fucked up.
It's like looking in the mirror, but the reflection doesn't cooperate.
It's too bad they don't just give us 24 hours to go out and mess with people's minds.
Oh my God. That would be so great.
We could take turns going to work and being at home with the kids.
Or just take every other day off.
Take turns suffering through meetings. All the shit we'd rather not do.
Catch up on our shows.
Exactly.
Jesus. Is that really what we do? The greatest scientific breakthrough of all time, and we'd use it to spend more time laying around the house in sweatpants?
I think that's what everybody would do.
It would make life easier, especially with the
Kids. You know, it's all right. You can say it.
I didn't want to.
You're not going to upset me. I've had a long time to think about it. They're the whole reason we're here, aren't they?
We.
Yeah.
Yes. That's right. For the kids.
We don't want them to grow up without a mother.
No.
You think you'll ever tell them?
Would you?
I imagine it would be a bit like hearing you're adopted, that your childhood was not a lie, but
Not quite what you thought it was.
what do you think they're doing right now? Evan and the kids.
Well, if he's sticking to the schedule, she has piano, right?
If he's sticking to the schedule. I just keep wanting to call and check in, but yeah, I know it'll only make things harder.
If we really wanted to warp his brain, we could send him a selfie.
It's going to be hard enough as it is. I'm still wondering
About what?
the notifications
You mean,
once I'm gone. Maybe we should change the preferences.
you don't think he'd want to know when you're,
Maybe the sooner he forgets I'm here, the better. It was hard enough to convince him to let me do this part by myself.
there wasn't any other way. I don't think there's a world where he can look at both of us and go on like it's normal.
It's never going to be normal.
And he's never going to forget. But if there's closure, if he knows you're dead, then he can stop wondering, right? As long as you're alive, a part of him is always going to be thinking about you. The same way you'll always be thinking about him. Either way, I don't think we should make a decision on the notifications today.
No, of course not. Let's see how the rest of the reintegration process goes.
It's going well so far, don't you think?
I do.
Good.
Except for that last question.
Oh my God.
It's just explain.
I
to
don't think
me.
we should go over it again.
I just want to make sure it's a perfect match.
I do too.
Not just for me, but for the kids.
Of course.
Because you're going to be their mother.
I am.
So you understand.
I do.
Then explain to me why you chose the blue.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
We'll be starting up again in just a few minutes. Would you like to take this moment to use the restroom or get some water?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Replica starts toward the door. Harper watches her go.
Wait,
The replica turns back.
no. Turn around.
The replica turns her back to Harper.
Okay.
Wait. I want to see too.
Harper turns around. The replica looks her backside over, and with mild approval,
Maka.
blackout.
I had to do a Larry David. Maka.
Okay. Do we go? Let me see. Are we still? Those of you on the chat on the live stream, are you still? Are you getting the up to dates on the live stream there? Just let me know if you're in the chat. Because I'm thinking I've got two different feeds going, and one of them is looks like it's just maybe a little bit behind. Just a moment. Okay, we're good. Yes. All right, great. Everyone is good. Okay, here we go. Scene 3. Thank you, chat viewers, chat watchers. Scene 3. Harper sits in the chair holding a tablet. Her finger hovers over it, ready to tap the screen. The replica stands nearby watching. Harper waits, then taps.
Shit.
0.541 seconds. We'll do it again. Ready?
Ready.
Harper readies her finger again. She waits, 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 then taps.
What was that?
0.435. That was impressive.
Hmm.
One more time. Ready?
Ready.
Just as she gets ready, she has to tap.
Wait, that wasn't fair. I wasn't ready.
But you said you were.
My finger wasn't over the square. One more time.
I'm sorry. That was the last one. Switch, please.
Harper hands the tablet to the replica. She sits in the chair and holds her finger over it.
Once again, soon as you see that color change, tap your finger on the square. Ready?
Harper watches over her. She waits, then taps.
Oh, come on.
0.875.
Slow.
Let's do it again. Ready?
Ready.
She waits, taps.
0.934.
You understand the instructions?
Yes.
When the square lights up.
I got it. Could you back up a bit?
Sure.
She does.
Ready?
Ready.
No.
The replica taps her finger.
1.323.
That took a full second.
You distracted me.
The square was already lit up when I.
Please just back up.
Last one. Ready?
Ready.
She waits and waits and waits.
Way too long.
Thank you.
Well, what was that time?
0.787.
That's not good.
Well, it was a fraction of a second.
Fraction of a second slower.
Again, not that big of a difference.
It is if you have to react to something quickly.
When is a half a second ever going to make a difference?
What about when you're driving?
I'm a great driver.
Right, but other people aren't, and you might have to react to their mistakes.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
Don't do that. Don't just brush it off. You have to try.
I am.
Well, then you're not trying hard enough, okay?
Where is this coming from?
I'm sick and I'm still faster than you. If you're not better than me,
I promise you,
point?
they will be in the best of hands.
they'll be in your hands, not mine.
It's scary, I know.
No, you don't know. You can't because you're going to go on without me. I won't be there to protect them. I won't be there at all. You'll take my place and I'll just disappear like I was never here to begin with. But
Her breathing becomes labored.
What's happening?
I need a minute.
What is it?
It's nothing.
How can I help
You
you?
can't.
Dr. Avalon enters.
Harper,
I'm fine.
what are you feeling?
I don't want to say.
I can't help you if you don't.
I don't want to say in front of her.
I already know.
Know what?
She's upset.
I'm not upset,
I am too.
but you get to live.
Explain to me, please.
She was starting to get angry.
Harper, talk me through this. Explain to me why you're angry.
Because I know it's coming. In 48 hours, she's going to walk out of here and live my life. She'll get to go back to my house and sleep in my bed. She'll curl up with Evan. She'll go back to Beckett's games and Emma's piano and dance recitals. She'll do those things, not me.
But she is you.
Yes, to everyone else, she will be. And maybe every now and then there will be some small sign that she's not quite 100% accurate, and it won't even really matter to them. But she's not me. I'm me, and I'm going to die and disappear while she goes on.
Yeah, but isn't that exactly what you wanted?
Yes,
Then why are you?
because I still have to die to make it happen. I know. That's selfish.
No. It's normal at this stage and perfectly understandable.
I just don't think it's
Fair.
Death isn't fair. That's the whole reason we're here. We're giving you a way to meet it on your own terms.
With her living my life. To be honest, I wish I didn't even know that she existed. I wish you could just have transferred everything like some kind of hard drive.
Well, perhaps in the future we will, but this is the best that we can do right now.
Well, then you should have killed me rather than wake me up.
You knew the procedure. You signed this contract.
I didn't know it would feel like this.
At the end of the process, maybe you'll feel
I've
differently.
changed my mind. I want to go home.
No, you've come so far.
I still have time. I still have 3 months. I could go back to my house and my family.
Yes, so what about your kids? What happens to them when you're gone?
Well, they have their father. They don't need her.
Yes, but she exists now. She's alive, just like you and me.
That's my secret. You asked me to write something down, something she couldn't possibly know. That's what it is. I wish she was taking my place in death, not in life. I thought I was okay with it. That coming here would give me a second chance, that somehow I would beat the system, but it doesn't matter. I still have to die to make it happen. She will too, eventually, and you. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna go through this process over and over again for eternity? That's never going to be possible. We can prolong it, but we can't stop it. Listen, all I want is to spend the last few months with the comfort of my family and my friends and my things and my house and the porch, not lying in some sterile room here in this clinic, wasting away among strangers while she's...
Replica's breathing becomes labored as well. He's overcome by her emotions.
Are you all right? Sit down.
He leads the replica to a chair.
Breathe.
What's happening to her?
Close your eyes. Breathe.
Is she defective?
She's going to be fine.
Is that why she was too slow?
She wasn't too slow.
But I had a faster response.
A slight differential.
Is it normal?
I don't know.
How can you not know that?
Because no one else has ever made it this far.
Wait a second.
That means
This is the closest we've ever come to success. Thomas Edison once said that he had not failed 10,000 times. He'd merely succeeded in proving those 10,000 ways will not work. I've discovered a number of ways that replication will not work. There have been significant obstacles, but I've never been more certain that it can and will work than I am today. I can't force you to continue, Harper. Perhaps you're right. We may just be prolonging the inevitable, but you came here hoping for a miracle, and we are so close.
Not a good enough answer.
It says, it is if you've seen the things I've seen. I've devoted my whole life to this work. I've seen people just like you who fail to make it through even the most preliminary tests. At every stage, this thing gets exponentially more difficult, and yet you've persevered because you have something they didn't have.
What?
Sheer force of will. You are what my grandmother used to call a pretty tough cookie.
Mine had a different term for it. She called me a pain in the ass.
Or whatever the term, you are extraordinary. Both of you. Because of you, we are steps away from the finish line. Question is, are you still willing to cross it?
yes.
Yes. Where do we go from here?
To the past. Would you please sit facing one another?
Harper and the replica sit facing each other, forming a mirror image.
Harper, I want you to tell me about a memory from your childhood, but only the first sentence. You'll take turns from there on, picking up where the other one left off. And if there's a discrepancy in the memory, we'll stop and we'll evaluate. You understand?
Yes.
All right. Somewhere around the age of 10, our memories begin to crystallize. Is there a singular moment you both remember from around that time?
I got one. 9th birthday. You remember what happened?
I do.
Very good. One moment, please.
Dr. Avalon exits.
Whenever you're ready.
For my 9th birthday, my mother sent balloons to my school.
A multicolored arrangement.
The red ones were my favorite.
They were always my favorite.
The principal delivered them to my classroom,
And my teacher tied them to the back of my chair.
where they stayed all day,
I remember how the other kids looked at them.
wishing it was their birthday.
I was so proud.
At the end of the day, it was time to go home
And my mother came to pick me up.
in my father's car,
It was a Cadillac.
the silver Cadillac.
But I didn't want to ride with her.
I wanted to walk home with my balloons.
I wanted everyone in the neighborhood to see them.
We only lived about a mile from the school.
So she let me walk home.
It was sunny out,
And she rolled alongside me in the car.
going 2 miles an hour.
Oh, and when we got home, she made Rice Krispie treats.
I got to watch an extra hour of television that day.
I watched a movie.
No,
It wasn't a movie? What is it?
nothing. Go ahead.
It wasn't a movie?
No, it was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is that correct?
Yes,
Wait,
just keep going.
well, what did you think it was?
Harper, is there a discrepancy?
No, it was a movie.
Are you in agreement?
Yes.
Yeah, if there's a discrepancy in the memory, you have to stop. Please continue.
After the movie, my father came home from. I'm sorry. I do. I have to stop.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry. It's not right. This isn't the memory.
What do you remember?
It wasn't a movie.
Yes, it was.
No, it was a cartoon
I don't think so.
about Davy and Goliath.
You're mixing up birthdays.
How could I mix it up? It's my memory.
Mine too.
What was the movie about?
I don't remember, but it's not important.
Yeah, but it is.
It's one minor detail.
Of a vivid memory.
It's just as vivid for me.
Well, how could you get it wrong then?
Everybody misremembers things.
No, I've told this story 1,000 times and I always tell it the exact same way. If you'd asked me what I had for breakfast last Monday, yeah, maybe I'd forget.
You knew there would be discrepancies.
I accept the discrepancies in the moral and reflex tests. I can't accept them here.
Why not?
Human beings. What are we made of?
Flesh and bone and blood.
Yeah, right, but when we're gone, we leave behind
A memory.
which is a collection. It's a collection of moments and images and feelings. It's a story. That's the whole point. You're supposed to carry on my story.
I will.
But how much?
If all we differed on was one little detail.
One little detail over tens of thousands of stories becomes tens and thousands of little details. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, let's say you have a car, right? And every year you replace one piece of it, even the little tiny pieces, the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, at what point is it a different car?
Right.
I get it. I do. At what point am I not you?
This is one story. How many more will be different?
This could be the only one. Are you willing to ruin just
No.
because of?
It has to be the same.
Dr. Avalon enters.
What do you think's going on here?
Well, it could be a functional issue with the neurotransmitters, or
Yes.
it could be as simple as the previous cue triggered a slightly different response. It affected the retrieval of the correct information.
It's not just information, doctor. It's a memory.
Yeah, well, that's all that memories are. Information that gets recorded, stored, retrieved.
But the details are important.
Of course,
The sum total of that information equals me.
that's true.
So then at what point do we decide that she's not me?
Are you asking for a percentage?
She's going to be out there with my friends and my family pretending to be.
Now, not pretending.
What happens if you're having dinner with the kids and a certain story comes up? If you have a different memory than they do.
That happens all the time anyway. I've seen a husband remember events that happened to his wife as if they happened to him over time.
A memory like this, though, a seminal event, if you were talking to my mother,
I'd find that she has a wildly different set of details in her memory because her individual experience of that particular day was different from your own. It was personal to her in her own way. What will be similar is the overall shared impression. I think we should talk about the underlying issue here. There is still something holding you back. Can you tell me what that is?
I'm afraid a part of me will be missing. Important parts.
Like what?
Like how I feel about them. Evan and the kids.
I know exactly how you feel.
Do you? Please tell me.
I know that it still drives you crazy that after 15 years together, Evan doesn't pay the bills on time for no good reason other than that he's lazy about it. But you stop saying anything because you don't want it to seem like you're always criticizing him. And I know that just before the wedding,
Say it.
in the changing room, just before the music started, there was a moment.
Tell me.
I've never said this out loud to anyone, but I thought about climbing out the window. I just wanted to escape.
And be anywhere but that church.
Even when we were standing at the altar, I remember thinking,
God, his best man is so hot.
right?
Wondering if maybe we'd made some huge mistake. What if we were meant to be with him instead?
Which was stupid because he was an asshole.
And he had a mullet.
Oh,
But we couldn't stop. We were just standing there in front of everyone.
fantasizing about driving away with him and shacking up in some roadside motel.
And we knew it was just our fear. But in that moment, we wanted
Options.
I've never told that to anybody else, not even my best friend. When I tell the story of our wedding, I tell them how it was perfect, that I knew Evan was the one, how there was never any doubt, but that wasn't true.
I still doubt it sometimes. And when things aren't going well, I think back to that moment, his best man standing there. I've just been too afraid to admit it. I know it doesn't make me a bad person. It just makes me
Human. But I wanted a different story. One where I was Do you remember?
Remember what?
The truth.
Truth about what?
It wasn't a memory. The balloons.
What do you mean?
Not a memory in the normal sense.
It was a lie?
No.
Yes.
Well, what would you call it, Harper?
A story.
About the birthday I wanted instead of the one that I got.
Something I told myself and other people over and over again until it just became
My truth. We have to start over. The real story this time.
okay.
Please.
He gestures to the chairs. They take their seats again. A mirror image. He stays to observe this time.
Whenever you're ready.
My 9th birthday was a few weeks after my father left us.
My mother was too depressed to do much of anything.
Let alone remember my birthday.
She couldn't even make breakfast for me before school.
I made my own breakfast, Pop-Tarts.
I walked to school alone while she slept in.
Usually, if it was a kid's birthday, their parents would bring in cupcakes for the class.
My mother didn't bring cupcakes
Mrs. Bryant must have felt sorry for me.
because she had the lunch lady bring in a tray of peanut butter bars.
At the end of the day, my mother wasn't there to pick me up.
So I walked home alone.
And when I got there, she was
Still asleep.
She stayed that way for the rest of the night.
All the way until morning.
I wasn't angry with her.
I wasn't even sad at the time.
I just curled up beside her
And waited for her.
to remember.
Harper extends her hands across the table, and the replica takes them in her own. A smile breaks across both of their faces, relief and wonder.
We did it.
It really worked. Holy shit. I mean, holy shit.
Right?
We remembered the exact same thing in exactly the same way.
Real memory.
Dr. Avalon, she's me. Is that it?
Not quite.
Yeah, but we passed all the tests. Moral, ethical.
The reflexes, the memory.
Yeah, there's one more. We've already heard what was in your note, Harper. Now, I think it's time to read yours.
The replica pauses for a moment. In the excitement, she'd forgotten all about it. She takes a paper from her own pocket.
Harper, sit with her, please.
Harper in the chair near the replica.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry about what?
Go ahead. Read it out loud to her.
The replica opens the letter. She looks at Harper for a moment before she reads it to her.
I'm not the replica.
What do you mean? Well, then who are you? Are you saying it's me? Oh, that can't be true. Doctor, tell me that's not true. I know who I am.
Things are not exactly as they seem.
Why would you do this to me?
You just try to stay calm.
Fuck calm. What's happening to me? Who am I?
You're Harper Dawson.
The original?
No,
That's a lie.
it's the final part of the process. It's a test, just like the others.
A test of what?
to see if your mind can withstand the shock of this new reality.
What reality?
That you're going to live.
I'm not the replica.
I'm sorry.
It's true.
You're the one who gets to walk out of here. Your body is the one free of disease.
Harper's
That's not.
Listen to him, please.
Stop it. I know who I am. I am not a copy. I am a person.
Harper's body rebels against this revelation, an uncontrollable twitch, almost like a seizure.
What's wrong with
What's wrong with her?
Harper, your brain's having trouble processing this new reality. Now, your mind wants to reject it, but if you can just get past this point, you're going to be fine. This is the very last step.
You can do it. You have to remember.
My head is hurting.
Stay calm now. It just will pass.
Is this it? Is she suffering a break?
Not if we can help her through it. Harper,
I don't understand what's happening.
hey, talk yourself through it. Your affirmation. You
I
remember?
want to go home. I want to
You're
go
almost
home.
there. Now, who are you? Come on, answer me. Who are you?
I'm Harper Dawson.
How old are you?
I'm 39.
What's your address?
Here's 22 Elm Street, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay, close your eyes. Take me to your favorite place. Where is it?
Oh, it's my back porch.
Go on. Harper, you can do this. I know you can.
I'm on my back porch looking out over the yard. Bex and Emma are playing on the swing set that Evan built. He's in his chair reading. There's a hummingbird feeder hanging from the railing. From time to time, one of them will come up for a drink. In the distance, I could see clouds forming. A rainstorm is coming. I came out here early because I love the way it smells before and after.
What do you hear?
I hear the breeze through the oak tree. I hear the hummingbird's wings. I hear the creak of the rocking chair. I hear the kids playing. Sometimes I listen to music when I'm here, but I don't right now.
Why not?
Because it's enough.
Harper opens her eyes and looks around the room, calm now. She locks eyes with the replica. Blackout. End Act 1. Act 2, Scene 1. 6 months later. For the purposes of Act 2, we'll switch character names to reflect the changing reality at the end of Act 1. Act 1 Harper will now be named Replica, and Act 1 Replica will now be known as Harper. The doctor is, of course, still the doctor. Lights up. Harper sits in the same observation room, still dressed in hospital garb, but the color has changed. She waits anxiously, pacing around the room. After a few moments, the door opens and the replica enters. She's dressed for the day in clothes that don't look all that much different than the professional women of today. Nothing too futuristic. She carries a small purse. When they see each other, there's a small moment of hesitation, but Harper breaks the tension with a hug.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about you? How are you feeling?
Good.
You look good. I'm sorry. I know it's been some time, but it's...
No, don't worry about it. You look great.
Oh God, I feel like a mess.
Not at all.
I had a rough time getting ready this morning. Beckett's sick, so.
What?
Nothing major, just a sinus thing,
His allergies.
I think.
Yeah, it's that time of year again. Is he taking his prescription?
We switched it up, actually.
You switched his medicine.
Dr. Nguyen's suggestion.
It took her so much time trying to figure out.
I
that.
know, but it changes as they get older.
Of course.
He can outgrow his...
Medicine, no, I know.
I didn't think that you'd object.
Oh, I don't object. I'm sure I would have done the same thing.
I hope so.
You don't have to justify yourself.
Well, I wasn't. It was more...
For my benefit?
Yes, as a courtesy.
Right.
But no. More than a courtesy. Oh, you know what I mean.
I do.
I brought you something. Now, I don't know if this is contraband or if I'm even supposed to, but
Pulls out a large candy bar from the purse.
Peppermint bark.
Dark chocolate. I saved it from the holidays. Are you allowed to have it?
Sure.
Oh, good. I was worried.
Thank you.
Please, I feel like it's such a small token.
No, it's
Is there something wrong?
no.
Oh, you never went back to chocolate, did you?
No.
Oh God, it's so strange. I hadn't had it in forever. And one day I found myself in the store and all of a sudden I was craving it again. And I'm sorry, I just assumed.
No, it's all right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to do something.
You've already done so much. And I've appreciated it. Every picture, every video.
I was worried it would be too much to deal with,
No,
considering.
not at all. It was hard at first. I won't lie. It was, but seeing them so happy.
Look, they made out like bandits this year. Between the things you ordered and everything we bought them.
We all went overboard.
Just a little.
That's what the holidays are for, right?
Yeah, a time like this.
Right. It's hard not to feel like we earned it.
We did.
Tough year.
Yes.
But here we are.
Oh, I also brought,
Pulls out her tablet.
because I'm sure you'd like to see some of the recital.
Yes, how'd she do?
Oh, unbelievable. Like a little diva.
Of course.
Look at this one. Here.
Show her some images and video.
Look how tall.
You wouldn't believe it, like a weed.
Oh, it's only been 6 months. I can't even.
It's crazy.
She looks like a teenager already.
Okay, this is the solo.
She presses play and some video plays on the tablet. We hear music, perhaps from a famous holiday ballet. We don't see the video of their daughter dancing, but we see their reaction to it. They react in unison, nearly the same vocal and facial expressions at the same time. A tilt of the head or a sigh.
It's so beautiful.
She's supposed to move up to Point in a few months.
That's great.
It is.
She's been dying to do that.
She's ready. Well, I think she's ready, but I'm biased.
Well, how's she doing with piano?
Well,
She doesn't want to practice. I had the hardest time.
she quit.
She quit piano? Why?
She didn't enjoy it.
Of course she enjoyed it.
No, I don't think so. I think she was doing it for us.
She's been going for 2 years.
Over two.
I think she just didn't want to practice.
No, she didn't. You're absolutely right.
And you just let her quit?
I did. We all did. It was a group decision. So,
Well,
I meant,
Evan too.
and Emma, yes, all three of us.
What happened to his whole, how is she ever going to learn to stick with anything if she doesn't follow
What did you
through?
expect her to do? Did we expect her to play piano the rest of her life? Was she going to grow up and be a concert pianist? No, she didn't love it. So it was inevitable that
She did love it.
no, you loved it. I could see it when I went back.
See what?
That it was a waste of her time. And I didn't want her to do that, even an hour more than she wanted to. You know what we do instead? We started going to the library once a week for books, actual books. Still bothering you?
Well, to be honest, I worry that she, you know what? Doesn't matter.
Well, I'm sorry you disagree.
It's not that I disagree. I understand where you're coming from. I just worry
About what?
about her character. If she's allowed to quit when things get hard,
She's 11.
Exactly. She's got time. If that's what you're worried about, there's not some ticking clock hanging over her head, counting down ominously to her death.
Yeah, but there is, isn't there?
On a grand scheme, yes, I guess so. But to worry about an 11-year-old wasting an hour a week, that seems a little over.
Crazy. Yes, I know. Trust me, I've been a little crazy about it.
About
Time. I have been obsessed with time. When I left here, I still hadn't fully processed what had happened. Now I understand. You gave us a chance to do things right.
I'm sorry, what do you mean by right?
I mean, okay. Beckett's teacher gave him an assignment in class. What 3 adjectives would you describe or would you use to describe your mom?
What did he say?
Number 1 was pretty. 2 was funny. And the last one was busy.
Busy. Wait, but busy how?
Well, that's exactly what I said.
Well, was it like he knows that I have a stressful job?
Well, that's just it. He's too young to know what stress is. He just knows what it feels like when we're rushing him around every day after school, yelling at them to put on your shoes and hustle up and get your McNuggets in your mouth.
We were busy with activities for them. They have a lot going on.
Yes, they do. And the question is why? Why is it so important for Emma to learn piano?
It's not about piano. It's about getting more involved. She was disconnected. I remember how that felt being on the outside, and I didn't want that for her.
But pushing her too hard was causing her to disconnect from you. Well, you just couldn't see it.
And you could?
Not right away, no.
So what are you saying? That I was a bad mom?
No, not at all. We were doing exactly what we thought we should be doing. When it finally hit me, it was like, oh God, I hate to say it because it sounds so pretentious, but it was enlightening. When I got back home, I could see it is all about time. Time for me to do things differently. You gave us a second chance, and I am so grateful for that. I live because you are going to die. I haven't said it nearly enough because there's a part of me that still felt like we were one and the same. But I owe you so much.
You're welcome.
And I know we said we wouldn't do it, but I'm starting to think that maybe I should tell the kids about you. Well, not anytime soon, of course, but when they're older, when they can handle it.
I don't think that's a good
I know you don't want me to.
No, it's not that.
And I just think it's important to honor you and to honor your memory when you're gone. Your sacrifice. It means so much to our family. This next part, it's a little harder to say, but I don't think I can come here anymore.
Why not?
I don't want this to sound insensitive, but I thought you'd be gone by now. And as long as I keep coming here, there isn't any closure for Evan or for me.
I see.
Because he wonders about you. He worries.
Good.
No, it's not good. It's like we're living with a ghost. This idea that you're off somewhere suffering. The woman he first fell in love with, he's having a hard time letting go.
I'm sorry to hear that.
There's something else. I want to cancel the death notification.
What?
We
No.
talked about this before.
You talked about this.
When I was in your shoes, I thought it would be better.
And I disagreed.
He can't keep sitting around waiting for a call that tells him it's okay to move on. Now he's the one who isn't present.
I have to tell you something.
It's just too painful to keep going on like this.
We're not canceling the notification.
And we'll move it up.
There is no
You
notification.
can tell him it already happened. He doesn't need to know.
I'm in remission.
What?
I'm in remission.
What are you saying? But I thought
I did. I did too. We all did.
What are you saying? How?
It's an anomaly.
I don't understand.
They think it might have been a side effect from the mapping procedure of the radiation. It shouldn't have happened this way. They're calling it a miracle.
A miracle?
I know this must be a shock.
Just never thought.
Me either.
It was never even an option when I left.
It wasn't.
What do they mean, remission? That you're fully...
The symptoms of the disease are non-existent.
You're going to live?
Yes.
For how long?
I could live as long as you.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say right now.
Me either.
I suppose the first thing I should say is I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
But the truth is, I'm not sure I am.
I understand.
Oh my God, that sounds so terrible. Of course, I'm glad that you're going to live. I just don't know what that means for me. And for me, I mean, for my family.
Our family.
This doesn't change our arrangement.
Well, that's what we have to figure out.
Figure out? Figure out what?
What we do now, where we go from here.
You mean where you go from here? I know where I'm going.
Yes.
I'm going home.
I know that this,
How long have you known?
not long,
Why didn't you tell me before I came?
because I was worried you wouldn't show. And anyway, I wanted to tell you in person because I think there must be some way we can figure this out.
Oh, you keep saying that. Figure what out?
A new arrangement.
I don't understand. What are you proposing?
I want to see them. I want to spend a day with them, a weekend maybe.
And then what?
I don't know.
Are you going to move to Alaska and forget they ever existed? Of course not. If you spend one day, one weekend with them, you're going to want more.
Is it that far out of the question?
Yes.
Would you at least consider my position for a second?
No, I won't. The only position I'm considering is my own, the position you put me in. I didn't create this situation.
But you did, in a way. You're me. You're using the same brain I was using when I volunteered for replication.
I didn't even exist then.
If I decide, you decide. We're the same person.
Not anymore.
What are you talking about?
We haven't had the same experiences for the past 6 months.
What does that have to do with anything?
We may have started out the same way, yes, but we are not the same person anymore.
We can't be that different.
How do you know?
How much could you have changed in 6 months? And liking dark chocolate doesn't count.
I have changed a lot. And that means the person they know and love has changed. Remember what Dr. Avalon said? It's not just who you think you are, it's who they think you are. They won't even know you anymore.
They could get to know me again.
Well, and you'd have to get to know them. Kids change a lot in 6 months. It's not like you'd even be going back to the same family.
I'm willing to take the risk.
I'm not.
You owe me.
Owe you? Owe you how?
You talk about the miracle of your existence, the gift I gave you, the time, the meaning it brought to your life. You don't feel a little indebted to me for that.
I'm here because we volunteered.
You can't have it both ways. Either I willed you into existence and gave you the miracle of life, or you helped me create the situation and should bear some of the consequences.
I didn't think there would be any consequences, not like this.
The door opens and Dr. Avalon walks in to find himself in the middle of a standoff.
How could this happen?
We're working on it.
Oh, that's not an answer.
But you knew this was an experimental procedure. You signed the documents.
You said it was safe.
It was safe. You came through unharmed. Both of you did. This is an unforeseen complication.
Unforeseen.
It happened after the fact.
But you weren't prepared.
Prepared for what? Are you prepared to get struck by lightning? We only took the most hopeless cases, and that's what you were when you came in here, without hope.
He's right. And now because of this, whatever it is, an anomaly or a miracle, a fluke, we're both here. We're alive. We can leave this building, go our separate ways, never see each other again if we don't want to.
You'd do that? You'd leave here and never come back?
If I can see my family first.
Unacceptable. If that's your ultimatum, then no, you can't leave.
That's not up to you.
What do you mean?
It's not your choice whether I stay in the clinic or not. I can leave whenever I want.
Is that true?
But it isn't a government program. It's a private corporation with no clause for this scenario. She's free to walk out those doors anytime she wants.
So there's absolutely nothing to stop her from leaving right now?
Nothing.
I've done it already a number of times.
That was you.
What do you mean?
The phone calls and the hang-ups.
Yes.
And you were at the soccer field that day. I saw
I was very careful. I made sure they didn't see me.
They didn't?
But you did.
Yes.
I just wanted to see them. I never came by the house.
But you thought about it.
Of course.
Then how can I be sure you won't do it in the future?
The only thing I can say is that I would do the exact same thing you would do in this situation.
The exact same thing?
Yes.
Then we have a problem because I know I would never stop trying to see them.
Neither will I.
I think we should take a minute.
This would have been a lot easier if you just died like you were supposed to.
No, you don't mean that.
Yes, I do. Your being alive ruins everything. Don't you realize that it worked? Everything you wanted, every wish you had coming here, it all came true. Our lives were perfect.
Not mine.
God, I don't care about yours.
You should. I have been alone here for 6 months. 6 months. I thought I was gonna die here, surrounded by tubes and machines and people. I didn't know. Well, you had dance recitals, then Christmas. I had the knowledge that you were out there living my life, that I was never going to see them again. That was the hardest thing we had to do in this whole process, and I did that. Not you. You don't care about me. Fuck you.
Now, there has to be some way to...
I'll tell them.
Yeah? What? What do? Show up on their doorstep and explain why they have 2 mommies? You want to turn their lives upside down? Oh, be my guest. You think Evan's just going to take you back like nothing happened? How do you think that's going to work out for you? You can threaten me all you want, but I know you won't do it. If I see you,
Head for the door.
if I see you around my house,
Your house.
Yes, my house and my children.
You are not leaving this room.
What do you think you're doing?
You can't do that, Harper. You can't make her stay.
She's not leaving until she agrees to let me see my family.
That's
The replica starts breathing heavily.
What's happening to her?
Harper,
what's wrong with me?
Is she having another break?
this shouldn't be happening. Not after all this time.
My head is splitting.
Is she defective?
Harper, listen to me. This happened before. It's just your brain trying to process the moment. Just relax and breathe.
I don't know who I am.
You're Harper Dawson.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is. You're Harper Dawson. You have a home.
I don't remember.
Because that's not your home. You don't have a home.
No, you stop it.
You don't have a home? You don't have a family? Because you're not real.
I am real.
No, you're not. You're just a copy. Do you understand that?
Harper, stop it.
You're not a human being. You're a failed experiment.
Harper, where were you born?
She wasn't born. She was built right here in a lab.
No.
Yes, and now you're defective.
For God's sake, stop it.
Everything you know, it's a lie. You're not a person. You're just a collection of information and memories from my life. I created you because I thought I needed you, but now I don't. Nobody needs you. You serve no purpose.
They need me.
Who? Who? The children?
I'm their mother.
Tell me their names.
I can't.
How can you be their mother if you can't even remember their names?
Harper.
Stop it.
Harper, please.
Dr. Avalon tries to pull Harper away, but she shrugs him off and keeps at it.
Say their names and I'll stop.
Please.
Say their names. If you're their mother, say their names. You can't because you're not real. You don't exist.
The replica wails in agony, clutching her head and shrinking against the wall. She slumps over to the ground, wailing a horrible primal sound. Dr. Avalon yanks Harper out of the way and tries to help the replica, who recoils, disoriented.
Harper, please. I just want to help you. Harper?
She scrambles away and curls up in a fetal position on the floor, whimpering to herself. Dr. Avalon comes to the sad realization that she's beyond his help now. Harper watches from nearby, still in shock and emotionally exhausted. Blackout. Scene 2. The next day. Harper wears the same clothes the replica was wearing the day before. For the first few moments, perhaps, we're not really sure who we're seeing. She sits at the table and picks up her purse. She opens it up and looks over the contents inside. Dr. Avalon enters in a grim mood. He has the tablet, which he hands over to Harper. She signs each section as he points it out.
There. And this one with the yellow highlight. 2 more. Here and here.
Once he's done, once she's done, he takes it back, all business now.
This is all in order. We'll see you in 3 months to follow up.
All right.
Feel free to call my office if you have any questions.
Doctor, I'm sorry. I didn't think.
I know.
I never wanted that to happen.
I understand.
I wish I did.
We had accounted for some degradation in the replica, but we hadn't imagined.
The original might be defective.
You did what you thought you had to do in order to get your life back. I don't know if that's a defect or just basic human nature. Either way, we still have a lot to learn.
I know this is a disappointment. Failure number 10,001.
I'm not disappointed in you. I have my own defects to reckon with. I may have overlooked things that would have normally given me pause. I became too emotionally invested.
Why?
Humphrey Davy, Warren de la Rue, Joseph Swan.
Who are they?
Exactly. Those are all men who contributed in one way or another to the invention of the light bulb. But history only remembers Mr. Edison, the man who perfected it.
Is there any chance she'll...
Recover? No, I don't think so. Like I said before, the tiniest crack. Are you relieved?
Why would I be relieved?
Well, that she won't be a problem for you in the future.
No. May I see her?
I don't think that's a good idea.
I'd like to say goodbye, please.
It won't matter to her. She won't even know who you are.
Please.
Dr. Avalon thinks it over for a moment and steps outside. Harper gathers up the purse while she waits. The door opens and the replica enters the room, mirroring the end of the very first scene of the play, in hospital garb. The replica has clearly malfunctioned at this point, her brain having suffered a breakdown during the fight. She is expressionless. Dr. Avalon escorts her in and helps her into a seat across from Harper. Harper reaches out tentatively and clasps the replica's hands. The replica doesn't respond. It's a sorrowful moment for Harper, who struggles to keep her emotions in check. Unable to take it any longer, she exits quickly. The doctor takes a seat across from the replica, resigned to failure, places a hand on the table absent-mindedly, curled up like a fist. The replica, as if driven by some subconscious impulse, raises her hand and makes a fist. The doctor is puzzled for a moment, then figures out, or speculates, what she's waiting for. He gives her a gentle fist bump. Her head moves slightly towards him. And off his surprise, blackout. The end.